The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is A Numbers Game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Hour 2 of A Numbers Game. Here we go. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo, taking you through this Thursday morning, February 20th. A lot of action tonight. We have got a full, jam-packed college hoop slate. Now, not a lot of ranked action. I believe Maryland, USC, the only top 25 contests, but a ton of mid-major games, including my best bet, which we will reiterate and get to later on in the program. The NBA is back, and back in a big way. Kelley gave out some NBA plays earlier in the show. Zach Cohen just gave some out. We'll get back into that schedule. We've got the Four Nations face-off. That's going to be a fun championship game. Canada, U.S. I'll be watching that with Uncle Sam himself, Dave Ross, right here at Circa.
That's right. I'm going to be a loser and stay home. You guys invited me out, but I'm like, it's too far and I'm tired.
They invited you. I didn't.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Joe did not invite me, by the way. Dave Ross, the kind gentleman that he is, did. That is correct.
By the way, if you want to meet Dave and Jensen, I should throw this out there because they do the early show. I feel like they're never around.
That's a good point.
Dave
Autograph
Ross, Jensen
signing.
Lewis. Yeah, come to Circa, watch the game. I mean, no one wants to meet me, but Dave Ross and Jensen Lewis, who doesn't want to meet those guys?
Autograph signing, I heard they're both doing, starts here at about 4:30 p.m. Just Venmo me $5 for each autograph. Yeah. That's how it usually works.
Dave will sign all your Canada memorabilia.
That's right. Yeah. He's volunteering that. What I need help from the audience on this game, Joe. Okay, because do you have any bets yet?
I don't, but
me either.
I think Dave might kick me out of our booth when he finds out. I'm leaning Team Canada in this one. It's a good revenge spot, and they have so much offensive firepower. By the way, I want to give Circa some credit really quickly.
Yeah.
They're minus 105 to each side.
Mm-hmm.
And I always love when a book does that. And it's not just that, it happens to obviously be the book that we're broadcasting from, but any book that does this, I would point it out. But when that happens, I think they deserve credit because you're seeing a lot of, 10 cents to each side, like a typical game. I don't know if it's because it's a special event, because it's an exhibition.
I think so.
But yeah, I would say probably because it's a special event. But I want to give Circa and company credit for juicing at only 5 cents to each side.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't have a single bet yet. What I need, though, is how do I bet? There's got to be out there, although the books I've checked so far don't have it. I need to bet over on the fights. I want a number of fights over or penalty minutes or something. So if someone's got one of those out there, send it to me, tweet it at me. I'm going to get in on that.
It's like me trying to, when we had Phil Bobbitt on, be like, all right, is there an over-under on crashes for the Daytona?
There is. I mean, like, this is like...
Well, he said not for the Daytona, right? He said for Formula One, there's the over-under on crashes, but not for NASCAR?
Did he say that, or did he say he doesn't bet them in NASCAR? He just bets them in Formula.
That's a good question.
I don't remember.
Find one for Daytona.
But like penalty minutes, it's not like this is a subjective thing, right? Like the minutes are a hard-tracked number for penalty minutes. Yeah, exactly. Like there should be an over-under posted on these type of things. Come on, we got to get better.
I agree.
Better bookmakers. Let's go.
Great. Kachuk, Miller. I'd look for some, over-under how many texts in the group chat this morning about fighting.
Right,
tonight.
yeah, exactly. I believe Wyatt Tomchek, the great Wyatt Tomchek, I think he said he found or is this Elliot? Now I'm confused if you told me. I think it was Elliot, actually, whether there be a 5-minute penalty in the first 5 minutes. The yes was only plus 130.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, because it's the championship, I don't think so.
That's where I would tend to lean,
I feel
too.
like they're going to treat this more like there's going to be some hard hits.
Right.
There may be a fight or two, but it's not going to be I thought it got a little gimmicky.
Okay, so I agree with over the course of the game, that's where I would look, and I would still want to get involved personally. This is not Sharp Handicap or Kelley Bydlon, okay? This is very Kelley and the Square Bears attacking a hockey game. Like this is, I'd want to look at overs on those throughout the course of a game, but I completely agree with you. Strategy-wise, if we're sitting here saying this game means a ton to both of these sides as we think it does, I think I'd be pretty shocked if they're coming out and fighting right away like we saw in that first game and logging massive penalty minutes, possibly putting yourself at a massive disadvantage right away in the game.
Yeah. I don't think it's smart for either team, obviously. Right. The round robin, you can mess around a little bit because let's face it, no disrespect to Team Sweden or Team Finland, there were tiers to this thing, and it was USA, Canada, draw the line. It's probably Sweden. Although, no, Finland beat Sweden. So I'll put them on the same tier, USA, Canada, tier 1. So in the round robin, you can get cute, you can get gimmicky, whatever you want to call it. Now it's a championship game. Even though it's an exhibition tournament, these teams both want to win. Anytime you put your country's flag on your back, you want to win. And I think we're going to get some good real hockey. And if a fight naturally brews or occurs along the way, I absolutely think they're going to go for it, but no one's dropping the gloves, first, at puck drop.
Yeah, so does this become like do you try to bait the other side early then? Like, that's what I'd be doing.
I feel like someone like JT Miller might do that. But
yeah.
JT Miller went in and what I found funny was like Tkachuk and Miller, and I didn't see the other Tkachuk brothers fight, but Matthew Tkachuk, the fight to open the game, and then JT Miller start to fight, and they both got their asses kicked. Miller really got his ass kicked. Tkachuk, it was a better fight, but it's like, I don't know. I always think it's kind of dumb when you're starting the fight. I'm trying to be objective here, whether it's Team USA. I don't care what team it is. When you're the one who's starting the fight and then you get your ass handed to you, it's just not a good look.
Yeah. NBA, take notes, by the way. Like, this is how you do an all-star game. Good on the NHL to kind of make this switch. This has been fun. And I mean, honestly, Joe, I don't know if I can tell you the last time I've looked forward to a hockey game as much as this one tonight.
No,
hockey game.
I feel like this is almost reminiscent. I know it's not the Olympics or of the same magnitude, but do you remember that Olympic game where I believe it was Crosby won it for Canada in overtime? I don't know what year, we're maybe going back a decade now, but it was like the greatest international hockey game I had ever seen, U.S. versus Canada. And I believe it was Crosby and OT. Yeah. This is the build-up to this is almost reminiscent of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say basketball, I think they've been doing a better job with the international game. And even, we saw the internationals get almost too good. The U.S. had to come back this summer and kind of show everybody. Right? Yeah, kind of show everybody. But it is, at least for me, hockey and soccer, I can get really into, but it's usually more the international than club or pro leagues.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Hey, you mentioned basketball. Let's talk some basketball. How about NBA awards? Are they done or not done yet? Kelley, I want to start with the MVP because if you look at the market, it might appear to be done. SGA, he's laying $5 as the favorite there. It was $6 last week on the show, though, so a little bit of movement. Jokic plus 350. Is the MVP race done or not done yet?
Not done yet, Joe, and it's only going to get more awkward as the conversations continue over the next couple months. I said in December, I think it was beginning of December, looking at what Jokic and SGA had started out doing, and it was like, this might turn into a really, really awkward conversation when it comes to MVP race, because Jokic could very likely end up having the best statistical season of his career in one of the greatest statistical seasons of all time. It's going to be a 30-point triple-double. It's ridiculous. And people are going to sit here and ask, how could you possibly not give the MVP to a guy that we've given it to 3 times before and he's having the best season of his career? It is a fair question. The counter to that, and I am not taking a side here, I do not have a bet, so it's easy for me to try to go attack this from unbiased opinion here, but the counter to that is, okay, the best player in the NBA, we've seen it over the course of Jordan's career, over LeBron's career. He doesn't always win the award every single year. You look for good opportunities to give it to someone else, and it is very easy to give it to the leading scorer in the NBA who's playing on the best team in the NBA and has been doing it from the beginning of the season, basically wire to wire, looking like the best player on the best team, and that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I could sit here and say I don't think the odds are that far off, Joe. I think they should maybe be a little tighter. There's no way I'd be laying minus 500 with SGA right now. I think Jokic is absolutely not out of this. But, man, this conversation is going to become a lot more heated as the next couple months come by.
How about, I'm going to go out of order here on you a little bit. I think I know the answer to this one. Defensive Player of the Year. Wemby, minus 2,000. Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., 22-1. Mobley, 25-1. And then you get Lou Dort, 40-1. SGA, 75-1. Is this one done?
Yeah, this is done. This is done, Joe. This is an easy one. We can move on pretty quick. This is, we got a great impassioned spiel on this yesterday from Michael Montesano.
Which I enjoyed.
I very much enjoyed. And I agree with him in the sense that we are treating Wemby very differently this year from what we did a year ago. I think there's a lot of reasons we can explain this and what he's not a rookie anymore. That's part of it. The hype of just how he entered the season being thought of as the best defensive player in the league now. I think that has a lot to do with this, carries over. And the biggest thing right now, Joe, to me, is there's not the clear-cut number 2 guy behind him, and that's where it makes it tough. Jaren Jackson Jr., Evan Mobley, great seasons, and then it's a bunch of dudes on the Thunder. I do believe...
3 guys on the Thunder.
Yeah, I do believe that if Chet Holmgren was healthy the whole season, that we'd probably be talking about this as a dead heat race between the two of them, Wemby and Chet Holmgren, because you tend to give it to the rim protector or center anchoring one of the best defenses in the league. problem is with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Evan Mobley is, okay, yeah, they're top 10 defenses, but we're not talking top 2, top 3 like the Oklahoma City Thunder are. So it's where it becomes a little difficult. This one's done, though. We're giving it to Wemby.
Kelley, how about the sixth man race? You've got Peyton Pritchard there laying $1.50 as the top dog on the board. DeAndre Hunter almost 3-1, Malik Beasley 5-1, and then you get into some double digits after that. Is this one done? Is it going to be Pritchard's award, or is it not done yet?
Absolutely not done yet. Peyton Pritchard has been the favorite in this award from the start of the season till now. He's been great. He is the regular guy off the bench right away, the sixth man for the Boston Celtics, encapsulates that name better than anybody, because I still don't think he started a single game. Even when they have injuries in the starting lineup, they still bring Pritchard off the bench. There's a lot of comparable cases here, though. Pritchard, 13.8 points per game, 3.5 assists, about 4 rebounds. He's shooting 41% from 3. If you look at some advanced stats, plus 2.5 estimated plus minus over dunks and threes. That kind of pushes him over the edge a little bit. Hunter, though, 8.8 points per game, about 4 rebounds, 40% from 3. Pretty comparable. You heard Zach Cohen say he likes Hunter. Get it? He's kind of the leading scorer of all the guys we're going to talk about, so that makes sense, but we're going to have to see what his role is like for sure in Cleveland. Then you got Malik Beasley on Detroit, who's been absolutely a huge part of Detroit's run this year. 16.5 points per game, 41% from 3. He's got the second best estimated plus minus of the guys we're talking about. Belongs in this race. The one guy I'll throw out who got all the conversation and the love a year ago, Joe, we haven't heard of much this year, though. Naz Reid. Yeah. He's having a better year than he had last year. Why are we talking about this? And you get 13-1, 14-1 on him. Don't count him out yet.
Kelley, there's one more I need your take on. We're going to get to that first thing on the other side, as well as some NFL awards, only here on a numbers game. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
VSiN fans, it's time to plan your Las Vegas getaway. Circa Las Vegas owner Derek Stevens is offering you 15% off at 3 incredible properties: Circa Las Vegas, the D Hotel, and the Golden Gate. Whether you're lounging by Stadium Swim, Circa's stunning rooftop pool, or enjoying all the excitement Vegas has to offer, you'll save big with promo code VSiN15. Book your stay now at circalasvegas.com. Use that code VSiN15. You'll get 15% off your next stay. Your Vegas adventure starts here. As a numbers game continues, alongside Kelley Bydlon, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Thursday morning. The NBA is back tonight, and I don't mean the little teaser we had of the Lakers and Hornets last night. I mean back in a big way. Totals of 250. Knicks and Bulls at MSG. A lot of action on the NBA card tonight. But Kelley, we're looking ahead to the awards market as we continue with, are these awards done or not done yet? I alluded to one before the break. An award that I am really intrigued by. And I'm not intrigued by the fact that it is neck and neck at the top. I'm more intrigued by a name as you go down the list a little bit. So Kelley, I'll phrase this one slightly differently. Most improved player. It's a near pick'em between Cade Cunningham and Norm Powell. So we know this award's not done, but is it a 2-horse race, or is the field a little bit more expansive than the odds board would indicate?
More expansive. Yes, I think there are some other guys that have a chance, and maybe I'm speaking through my bets, but I hope they still have a chance. Look, I don't think Tyler Hero's necessarily out of this. I think there's a couple players that are still in the mix here. Tyler Hero, definitely. Maybe Christian Brown, maybe Amen Thompson. It's probably those 3, though. I think Hero, Powell, and Cunningham is probably where it starts. I have tickets. I have a preseason ticket on Cunningham, and then got in season with Michael Montesano. We grabbed 50-1s on Hero earlier in the year. I think as we get this Heat team playing multiple games without Jimmy Butler, we'll see his usage rate go up even more, even though he's played a lot of games without Butler already. I think he will be in the mix. Norman Powell's a really interesting case for us to study, because we haven't seen a lot of these, Joe. And this is, a lot of people get upset about the Cade Cunningham case of, hey, this guy was a top draft pick just a few years ago. Don't we expect these type of guys to improve over the years? It's a fair argument, but what we're trying to do whenever we talk awards betting, we're trying to figure out how voters have voted before in the past and follow that, not over how we think they should vote, which always becomes a problem when we talk betting on these things. But Cunningham, we've seen this. We've seen it with John Morant. We saw it with Tyrese Maxey last year, that they follow this 3-4 year arc of these players' careers, and just that slight bump in points and overall production can get them home in there. So I understand why Cunningham's up there. Norman Powell, the leap that he's made has been incredible. Now, why I say there's some questions with him is just we haven't seen a guy that's been such a reliable six-man bench scorer before in the past. We haven't seen a lot of examples of guys like that going into a starting lineup this late in their career and maybe turning into a different player. And I say the word maybe, Joe, because I'm not really sure he has. Like, I've always thought Norman Powell's a great player. He's just always come off the bench. So now that he's in the starting lineup for the Clippers, I think just the overall numbers boost I kind of expected. So I'm very interested to see how voters handle that. Having said all that, I do think he should probably be the favorite right now. I think this is wrong guy favored right here. I think it should be Norman Powell and Cade Cunningham and Tyler Hero just behind him.
So do you think at plus 105 it's a good price then?
I don't hate it. I wish I personally would have gotten in earlier so I'd have this market kind of cornered by now, but I'm going to wait. Personally, I'm going to wait and see how it plays out a little bit more over the next couple weeks to see really where these odds go, because I'd like to get, if I've got 25-1 and 50-1 on Cunningham and Hero. So if I can get a position on Norman Powell, lock in some money, that would be ideal, but we got to see how this plays out next couple weeks.
Absolutely. Either way, it seems like you're going to find yourself in a pretty good position. Coach of the year, we talked about the MVP. SGA is laying $5 as the favorite here. Kenny Atkinson laying $6 as the favorite for Coach of the Year. Udoka 12-1, Bickerstaff 15-1, Taylor Jenkins 18-1 behind him. Kelley, is this one done?
I think this is done. I don't think I actually think there's a lot of people out there that disagree with me. I think it's done. I think Kenny Atkinson's taking this. I actually think that the only person that probably can catch him is Dags and OKC. And if they end up winning, it's close to 70 games and Cleveland starts falling off a bit here. But I think it's over. I think it's done. Atkinson wins this.
Come on. You don't think JJ Redick is live at 100-1?
No, I don't.
How about, this is a fun one. I mean, it's an obvious answer. Everyone's in plus money. Rookie of the Year. What are your thoughts on that race?
It's an absolute disaster. Don't waste your money in the market right now. It's not done. I can tell you that much, Joe. Not done yet. That's for sure. Because
I feel like it's going to be Steph Castle.
He's the rightful favorite. That's all I can say about this market.
But even
he's the right
plus 120.
Yeah, he's the rightful favorite. But man, it wouldn't surprise me if. Where Risa Shea, Wells, Edie's gotten some steam recently.
Edie
Something
was
to keep
the
an eye
guy who
on.
intrigued me at 15-1 the most on this board. I mean, I'm not going to play a plus 120 Rookie of the Year in this class, but Edie at 15-1. I mean, look, I'm not going to play anything. I want to be very transparent. I'm not playing anything in this market. Edie intrigued me. Maybe Dalton Connect gets, pissed off about the trade thing that didn't go through, lights the world on fire, goes scorched earth the next 26 games. I
was surprised how many minutes he got last night. The one name
didn't do much with him.
Yeah, I didn't. What I kicked around to a couple people recently was Donovan Clingan at 50-1. Yeah, no DeAndre Ayton there in Portland, for a while here. He's going to get a lot more playing time. He's kind of attracted. Problem is, it's just probably a little too late for him.
Yeah, like you pointed out about Edie picking up steam, but Edie at 15-1 more realistic seemingly than Clingan at 50-1. Final award, clutch player Nikola Jokic, the odds-on guy, barely minus 105 on the board. Trae Young sitting there at 4-1, Brunson plus 650, and then you've got Maxey 15-1, Tatum 16-1, Darius Garland 18-1. Thoughts on this clutch player award?
Yeah, it's really interesting because Drew was on here. Drew Dinsick on with us a couple days ago. We talked about this award a little bit, and I completely agree with him. I have no idea how we have Nikola Jokic as a favorite here. It just feels like we're trying to come up with what happens if Jokic does not win MVP. We've got to give him something. So that's why we're making him the short shot in this market. You and I were talking a little bit on break. It's just the amount of minutes played in clutch time that Trae Young is likely going to have almost everybody on this board is a little absurd. And he's, like, if you throw out Torrey Craig, who doesn't have enough games to really qualify for this, he's third in points per game. He has the most overall total points scored in clutch time, which is actually the stat they'll probably look at more. I would have Trae Young at the top, and then it would be Jalen Brunson if I was setting odds for this. Brunson right now at least is your points per minute leader in clutch time. And the team's 12-7. Knicks are 12-7 in clutch games. Atlanta 15-13. So that matters. Denver's 13-9. Not as many games, not as many games played, not as good of a performance as from Nikola Jokic in the clutch minutes. So I think these odds are all off. I think there's still a little value on Trae and Brunson. I got in on Trae Young a few weeks ago at 15-1, I believe is what I have him at. Brunson, I might be taking a piece of here at some point. Maxey, I've got a ticket on as well. But man, I really think it's probably going to come down to Young, Brunson. Maybe Maxey can get back in the race. Maybe Tatum gets into the race. Wouldn't shock me, but Jokic, I would think, falls off a bit here.
You know, this is an award that I have no intention, like Rookie of the Year, of getting in the market and betting. But I will say, from a storyline and a narrative, the numbers, I mean, Drew literally was reading out what you type in to get to the exact page, and it would seem to favor a Trae Young or a Jalen Brunson. It does feel like, given the historic season Nikola Jokic is having, if that straw poll that Tim Bontemps ran is accurate and SGA is going to run away with MVP, it seems like they want to make sure Jokic comes out of the season with some sort of hardware.
Yeah, this award is so defined of what stats you're looking at. Yeah. It just feels like an odd award to be able to try to do something like that.
But it's also pretty much the only one, isn't it?
Right, exactly. Because there's not like an offensive player of the year they can give it to.
Yeah, defensive player of the year, that's for sure. Speaking of defensive player of the year, Kelley, how about we switch gears a little bit? NFL awards market. Final minute here. Let's run a 2-minute drill. Is there one, I know I said speaking of defensive player of the year, but any award that you feel like you've got an early edge on?
Man, there are some interesting ones up. So right now, DraftKings has MVP, offensive player, defensive player, coach, and comeback player of the year up. Okay.
I think comeback might be a near lock.
Oh, really? Okay, let's get to that in a sec. MVP and defensive player of the year. I don't know about you, but it still feels like a very small group of players that I would have any interest in getting involved with, and there's no reason to get involved this early. I mean, we were talking MVP, Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, right, Patrick Mahomes, and I'll even throw in Jaden Daniels. Fine. I think that's probably the 5 most likely guys to win it. There's no reason to bet it now. Defensive player of the year, it's a bunch of the great pass rushers right at the top, just like it always is, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know about you. I think those are the rightful odds, and I feel no reason to jump in on either of those markets.
Right. Well, I'm looking at one of those pass rushers for comeback. I mean, the NFL showed us this year. They put out the memo. They pushed hard. I didn't think Joe Burrow should have been the comeback player of the year. It felt like a consolation because he didn't get any award like Allen did or Lamar when it came to first team All-Pro or MVP. So it felt like Burrow's consolation was the comeback. I mean, he played 10 games the year before. Comeback player of the year, I thought should have been Darnold. But the NFL's pushing for injuries. Well, Aiden Hutchinson. Not a sexy price, but still plus money at 2-1. I think he is the clear-cut comeback player of the year next year. I think it's the narrative the league's also going to want.
Yeah, it could be interesting. It's not the narrative. It followed the rules. Darnold didn't follow the rules, Joe.
Yeah, don't tell me about any damn rules. Mike Somich going to break some rules up next. It's a numbers game. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers game continues here on VSiN, taking you through your Thursday morning alongside Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo, and I'm excited to hit the progressive guest line here as we welcome in the host of Ready, Set, Bet on VSiN, our friend Mike Somich, to help get us ready for the Four Nations Face-Off championship game tonight. Mike, how are you, and how excited are you about this championship game?
I'm doing great. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably like a 9.5 for this game tonight. Okay. I cannot wait for the puck to drop, Joe.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Kelley and I were talking earlier during the program about how this game should look a lot different than the last game. Round robin stage, obviously you had the booing of the anthem, and Team USA had the group chat fired up about the fights and everything. Look, now you're in the championship game. And I don't think the gloves are going to get dropped early. They might if it's an appropriate situation at some point. But I think right now these teams have one thing on their mind, and that's winning. What do you think is going to be different about this game from the last meeting?
I think quite a bit. I agree with you. I don't expect to see a flurry of fights early in this game. If there is one, it's because a Kachuk brother decides to just make hay. And, Kachuk brothers seem to like to do that. So yeah. I wouldn't be overly shocked if one of them steps up and just goes after somebody early in this game. But they're too important, and that's a key part of this is the USA front and how different this USA team is than in the past. When talking about this game, I don't think a lot of people who are kind of casual hockey fans or casual sports fans fully understand what this rivalry, what this matchup means. If you look in the four major sports, hockey is the one that you have more stars from these two teams, these two countries, than any other sport. Every roster you look at has at least one American, one Canadian who is just absolutely phenomenal. And when you look at historically how this rivalry has gone, the U.S. is very much the little brother in this rivalry, especially when it comes to best on best international competitions. There was a stat that came out. Sidney Crosby had not lost a game in a Canadian sweater in 5,400 days, almost a decade since the last time that he lost wearing the Canadian sweater. And this is the one rivalry where both of these teams just care a little bit more. And when you look at it, this Canadian team is absolutely stacked. They're phenomenal, but there are differences from these previous teams to today's team. One of the main ones is goaltending. If you look at the funnel a decade ago and what was coming up from the Canadian goaltending side, you had Carey Price in net. Prior to that was Patrick Waugh. It was just a consistency of phenomenal goaltending for Canada. You fast forward today, that's actually on the U.S. side. You've got Connor Hellebuck. You've got Jake Ottinger, who are the best two goalies in this tournament. Both of them are on Team USA. Canada relying on Jordan Binnington, who has been a phenomenal big game goalie in the past, but not nearly as good as those two goalies and what we've seen from them so far in this tournament. And then you fast forward over to the forward side, where historically Canada just dominant from a forward perspective. If you look at the top 10 scorers in NHL history, all 10 of the Canadians would be number one on the U.S. list. In fact, the leading U.S. scorer would be Brett Hull, who played for Team USA, but he was born in Canada, so he's not even on the list. That's Mike Modano. The difference now, though, is when you look at what we have up front in the USA, you've got both Tkachuks, you've got Jake Eichel, you've got just a phenomenal forward group here that can actually compete skill to skill with Team Canada. So in a lot of ways, today is about Canada trying to prove they are still the big brother. And I guarantee you this generation of Canadian players do not want to be the generation that kind of gives up that dominance. You mentioned the booing of the anthem. Just the political background of this hypes this game up even more for these two sides. And we're seeing from a price perspective in Boston, this game is going for as much as the Super Bowl was. So you're going to have just a ton of interest in this game. We've seen the ratings be phenomenal. That USA-Canada game actually outrated two Stanley Cup Finals games last year. So there is interest. And there is going to be buzz and intensity on both of these teams tonight, Joe.
All right, so there's going to be buzz. There's going to be intensity. How does this thing start? Are we going to get a flurry of maybe not fights, but a flurry of goals in the first period? What's your favorite first period play?
I don't think we are. I think this is a situation where it's a lot like a Stanley Cup playoff game. This is a one-and-done, single elimination style. That means you're going to see both of these teams tighten up. You do not want to give up the first goal in these games because it is so important to be able to get out to a lead and be able to dominate the style of play and be able to kind of shrink back and play a defensive and attack style of offense. Because of that, I like the first period under here. You can get under a goal and a half, minus 125 in this spot. If you look at the first game, yes, there were 2 goals in the first period, and the Team USA has scored 2 in every single period so far, first period in each of these games. So the over is hit for them. Wow. But when you look at how those two teams played the entire game in that round robin game, it was 2-1 before an empty net goal. It was a very much a defensive struggle, and those teams now know how to play each other defensively and know how to play each other with that aspect of it. I think that pushes this toward a defensive matchup, especially early. So I'm going to take the under in the first period, under a goal and a half there. I do like the under for the game, but I get scared in these elimination games in the playoffs and these gold medal or championship games and tournaments, because you're going to see goalies pulled very, very early in this spot. If this is a 1-goal game, you're going to see the goalie come out with 2 to 3 minutes. If it's a 2-goal game, you'll see the goalie come out with 5 minutes, and that can create havoc for unders late in the game.
Oh, okay. I like that you brought that up, Mike. I was going to ask you about the full game under, so definitely a lean there for you. As far as some of those props, like empty net goal, is that something we should, like, that caught my eye a little bit earlier? I mean, I'm still looking for just a fight or penalty minutes prop, even though it sounds like you disagree with me. But I agree that early it might not happen, but throughout the game, I'm still expecting some physicality. But anything else prop-wise that really jumped out to you that you're gravitating towards?
If this game gets out of hand, Kelley, there will be fights. Like, it will happen here. Yeah. So if you see either team get up 2-3 goals, if you can get an in-game fight prop, I'm all about that, because the wider the margin, the more likely you're to see a fight here. If you do see a fight early, I think it's the first 5 minutes. You can get a fight in the first 5 minutes at plus 150. That's kind of fun to root for, just to see if you do get either of these teams to drop the gloves. From a prop perspective, my favorite one here is Cal McCarr to get 3+ shots in the game, sitting at plus 120. He's a big key of this. I mean, you have, from the round robin to this game, you have two big differences. So first off, McAvoy out for Team USA. He was one of their top defensemen. He was a specific problem for Connor McDavid, who's the top forward over on Team Canada. And then Cal McCarr reinserted to the lineup. He missed that game against the USA with illness. If you look at his 2 games in the tournament that he has played, he's attempted at least 10 shots in both of those games. Now, not all of them got on goal, and that's the key here. You have to have shots on goal to be able to cash this prop. But he's had two or three shots wide, 4 shots in both games blocked. He is going to be firing the puck. The question is, are you able to get those pucks to the net? I think he's going to have some success here being able to do that. And he's also a difference maker in this Canadian offense, because when you watch that game against Team USA in the first round, their real struggle was breaking out of the zone with speed, breaking through the neutral zone with speed. Cal McCarr single-handedly is able to do that, either carrying the puck or passing the puck. So I look for him to have a big game tonight if Team Canada wins. I definitely think he goes over that shot total at 3 or more at plus 120. And you can get a big number if you want to go 4 or more shots as well. So I don't hate that if you're looking for a big price.
Yeah, if you've got the courage, we'll say, to go 4 or more, you can get 3-1 on that for McCarr. I don't hate that. I mean, you're asking for what, 40% of his overall shot attempts to be on goal at that 4+ alt line, 3-1. Not bad. How about goalie props? Mike, you talked about the goaltending and how Team USA, for the first time in a long time, seemingly has a pretty clear advantage in that category. Are you going to Hellebuck, or are you going to the Canadian side of things?
Well, I'm looking at shots and specifically saves that we're going to see from both of these goalies, and I expect you're going to see Canada spend more time in the offensive zone here. If you just look how the USA roster is constructed, they made decisions to go with less talented players on specifically the 3rd and 4th line than what they could have, because they wanted a more cohesive unit as a team. They wanted a grinding line out there, a defensive line that can face off against some of these Canadian players. Those lines don't generate a lot of shots in most cases, and because of that, I like Jordan Binnington under saves, under 25.5 saves in the game. He's actually gone under this total in all 3 games with 23, 20, and 23 saves in each of those. If Team Canada is able to push this offense, which I expect they do, you're not going to see nearly as many USA shots. I'm not saying USA loses the game. I just think Canada outshoots them, and it's not as busy of a night for Jordan Binnington. So let's take his under shots prop here at 25.5 saves.
Mike, I love the props, but I do have to ask you at the end of the day, and we won't tell Dave Ross if you're picking against Team USA, but who do you think ultimately wins this one?
I think Team Canada wins, unfortunately. I'm kind of torn here. I have a lot of Team Canada to win the championship here. I talked about this last week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on VSiN, how you had to bet Team Canada at plus 190 or plus 200 to win this tournament because they were highly likely to be in the championship game. And if they were, you're going to see minus 110 on both sides, just like we saw in the round robin game. So I've got a lot of exposure to Canada here. I do think they are top to bottom the better team. And I think Cal McCarr makes that big of a difference for this Team Canada side. They weren't able to get speed through the neutral zone. They weren't able to get speed out of their own zone. That's going to change with McCarr on the ice. And he's going to be on the ice with McKinnon and McDavid. And when they get speed through the neutral zone, they become nearly impossible to stop for a full game. So I think Team Canada wins it, but I do think we're in for a good game tonight.
Yeah, I remember you saying that on Money Moves last Friday, and that made me lean towards Team Canada myself in this one. I'm with you. We'll have to keep that a secret from Dave, but I'm with you. Mike, really appreciate the time. Thanks so much, man.
You got it. Have a good one, guys.
Make sure you check out Ready, Set, Bet over the weekend and follow him at SamoBomb18 on Twitter. Kelley, which side are you leaning towards in this one?
Man, I'm rooting USA. Let's go red, white, and blue.
I didn't say who you're rooting for. I said which side are you leaning,
I have no idea.
Big difference. Don't make me seem like an expatriate or something on air.
I'm leaning over fights. That's what I'm leaning.
That's what we're leaning for. In the sports book or on the ice?
Yeah, both.
More numbers game. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo. Up next.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
It's a numbers game. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Thursday morning on this February 20th edition of the show. Kelley, I'm starting to get sad, man. We've only got one more show
Uno
together.
mas, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably feeling a big sense of relief, I would imagine.
No, man, it's been great spending it. it's great for me to mix it up a little bit with different people. Gil and I talk enough to each other about sports throughout a year. Okay, there's perfectly fine for me to be talking to someone else for a couple weeks.
I got to say, I know a lot of people in this industry after the Super Bowl go on vacation. This has felt like a vacation for me. Minus the fact that I never wake up at 4:45 in the morning when I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
But 2 hours with a co-host after you're doing 3 hours solo in the graveyard shift coming out here, I'm like,
different world, right?
I don't know if it was earlier this week or maybe late last week where I was totally, looking at the rundown, getting ready to dive into a topic, and then I go, oh crap, it's the last segment. Like, show's already over. Did not it really creeps up on you.
Now,
man.
do you think you'll have trouble adjusting back?
That's what I'm worried about.
Oh,
that's what I'm wondering.
It's in his head now.
Well, because at first 3 hours wasn't bad because I was doing over the summer before I was full time. I was doing all the 4 hour live bet Saturdays.
Right, so three's not
I was
bad.
like, three's not bad. Now doing 2, I mean, this felt like a breeze, but going back to 3, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you might have some trouble.
Might have to have you tap in for some guest booking assistance. Because I'm going to be, I'm going to be, dreaming of the words progressive guest line. When
Paul Carr, we need another soccer in, Paul.
Yeah, right? Until he finds out, it's 11 p.m. Eastern? Yeah, I think not.
I tried to give him the day off tomorrow, too. He's in. He's totally in.
He's
Premier
in.
League. When
you're on a heater like Paul Carr is right now, I mean, you want to get on the air as much as you possibly can. Let's see if we can kick off a little heater of our own. It's time for Best Bets, of course, brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. I'm kicking things off here. Look, one play in college hoops. Started off the week phenomenal. Had a 3-0 Monday. Tuesday, light, 1 game, 0-1. Yesterday, went 2 heavy, 4 games, 1-3. That Bama game, they put up 98 points, exactly what I was hoping they would do. Problem is they gave up $110 at Mizzou. So trying to just get back in the win column here, like we were doing earlier in the week. Give me UC San Diego. Laying 13.5 on the road. I know that's always a big ask, but they're taking on a Cal Poly team that has the 5th worst scoring defense in the country, ranking 360 out of 364. They're also bottom 20 in the country on the glass. They give up a ton of second chance points. They can score, Cal Poly, averaging about 80 points per game, as is UC San Diego. Difference is UC San Diego has the 11th ranked scoring defense nationally, allowing just about 62 per game. So 11th ranked scoring defense versus 360th. They've already beaten Cal Poly by damn near 30 this season. UC San Diego has won and covered 7 straight. Their margin of victory is 17 points per game. That ranks 3rd in the country. Their margin of covering is 7 points per game. That ranks 2nd nationally. I am all in on the Tritons, laying 13 and a hook in San Luis Obispo.
I like it. Yeah, 2 in the NBA for me tonight. Sorry, these numbers are long gone. I did talk about the Blazers yesterday, though.
You did.
Yeah, Blazers catching 5 with the Lakers coming in tonight into Portland off that back-to-back situation with Charlotte. Look, it is all-star break time. These guys did just get a bunch of time off. I don't really think that the back-to-back situation is all that daunting for the Lakers tonight. Honestly, I'm actually a little bit more scared now with them coming in off of a loss, too. See if they might be a little bit more fired up, especially with all the talk that's going on after the game last night and then into today. But Blazers catching 5. This is a team that I've been pretty high on the past few weeks and going to be pretty high on, I think, down the stretch. No DeAndre Ayton hurts, but man, since January 1, Portland 12-11, they're really about a 500 basketball team. You're talking about a perfect 0 net rating in that time. They've had a top 10 defense, so pretty impressive on that side of the ball. Meanwhile, Lakers still trying to get everything together and get this team figured out. So Portland catching 5, I was in on at 3. I'd still see a 3.5 out there. I think it would still be a pretty heavy lean to that way for me. Maybe just a smaller bet on 3.5 out of the All-Star break. I'm not really firing too big on any of these anyways. The other one, this is completely unfair, but I saw the Wemby news come down on my phone. I immediately went and grabbed the Suns yesterday, catching 3. This has gotten all the way to the other side. While we were on the air earlier, it was Suns -3. Now they're playing about 2.5 is what you're going to see out there. That feels about fair. I don't know if I'd be in on the Suns now. That line feels way more right in that spot. So only those 2 for me. The only one I might end up adding is the Clippers playing the Bucks tonight. We talked about earlier in the show, Bobby Portis got suspended. He will be missing the next 25 games. Looks like Giannis is going to play tonight. Did practice yesterday. I'm kind of waiting for official word on that, though. Let this number probably drift back towards Milwaukee just a bit here. But the Clippers, Milwaukee really struggling recently. 2-7 ATS in their last 9 games. Play a little bit better at home, though, so we'll see what we get out of this game, but I think the Clippers will be what I'll have my eye on.
Yeah, I was looking at that Clippers spot too, and it hasn't really moved since the Bobby Portis news. So like we discussed earlier, that tells me that news was the reason it moved yesterday.
Yeah.
Where was that, like late last night or
Last
early
night, this morning, yeah.
Yeah, so that news probably was out there before we got it, via the push
Someone
notification
knew, yeah.
to our phones. Exactly. More best bets from some of our guests. Kelley, how about Zach Cohen's NBA plays?
Yeah, Zach on the Sixers tonight. So respect Zach, respect JVT. This will probably take me off any interest on Boston tonight. But Sixers, he's playing, catching the 7.5, and then money line at plus 260. He's on the Grizzlies laying 2. Nets catching 13.5. Against the Cavaliers coming to town, and then Buzelis over 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He is on the Chicago Bulls, in case you're interested. And then Mike Somich joining us. We have a first period under from Somich, 1.5 at minus 125. Cale Makar, 3+ shots, shot on goal, Sogs, plus 120. And then Jordan Binnington under 25.5 saves at even money.
So, Kelley, not that I would ever fade a terrific guest of ours like Zach Cohen, who, of course, knows way more about the NBA, follows it way closer than I do. I did take a Celtics bet in that game at one of the breaks earlier. We didn't have it on the screen because it wasn't before the show. I went Boston first half, minus 3.5. Third best first half margin in the league, over 5 points better than their opponent on your average first half. Last 3 plus 14. In the first half. The Celtics team, it's the reason I said I liked over 59.5 on that live win total, because, they'd have to go 21-6 to do so, but they're really switching it into a second gear here. I like the way that they're playing. I think it's reminiscent of last year, where almost the first half of the season feels like too much of a cakewalk for them, like they're a little disinterested. So I think Boston's going to come out hot tonight, and I laid 3.5 with them.
I don't hate it. It's probably where I'd be looking towards too. I was already leaning that side anyway, so right. Don't hate it at all.
Folks, G-Bank's up in the ante with up to a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First, new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening will receive a $250 bonus. In addition, if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, you'll receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now, vsin.com/gbank. That's VSIN.com/gbank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions, of course, apply. We, about 90 minutes ago, updated the Mexico Open. As we get ready to wrap things up here, Kelley, any big updates of note since we last went there?
Yeah, your leaders, Ryo Hisatsune is 4 under still. He is through 13 now. Another Japanese player, Takumi Kanaya, 4 under through 7. He's really come out strong here. To start some other notables, then at 3 under par, Harry Hall, 3 under through 9. Not shocking to see his name up there. He was a guy I was looking at closely. Alejandro Tosti, one of my long shots on the outright board, didn't play him first round leader, though. He is 3 under through 8. I know I got a tweet about that this morning. Kevin Yu, 2 under. I like that. Taylor Moore, 2 under, to the guys that I bet on. And Kurt Kitayama, 2 under as well. So, okay for me so far. It'd be nice to see if Smalley or Kevin Yu could pick up some shots, though, and get him into the clubhouse with a lead.
Well, here's you right now for a putt, right? Isn't that him on the screen?
That's him.
How's that looking?
I can't see where the hole is.
Nope, missed it. Missed it by that much.
Yeah.
Well, so what you're telling me is it's if we're doing the nationality props, great day to bet on Asian golfers, the Italians not getting home.
Yeah, especially Japanese. Yeah, 2 Japanese golfers right at the top of the board.
And then you is, what was he, 2 under? 1 under?
He is 2 under.
So, all right, so he's improving, because when we first went there 90 minutes ago, what was he, 1 over?
Yeah.
I love it. We'll keep an eye on the Mexico Open. College hoops, by the way, this UC San Diego game has come down a tick from 13.5, what I got.
Sorry, I was joking about Molinari earlier, but he's 2 under par.
Oh, is he really? What are his live odds? You pull that up?
I'll check that out. I'll bring that up.
San Diego now minus 12.5 at Cal Poly Slow. So I really, really like that bet. I'm debating. I mean, I don't know. I don't want 1 point of movement to make me go in over my head on this one, but I'm debating adding a little something, as it looks like some people are thinking, it's too big of a number for a Cal Poly team that, averages 80 points a game. But again, they allow 83 per game, and they're taking on one of the best defenses in the country. What's the Molinari number?
300 to 1. Live to win the tournament.
Is that euro or dollars?
That is dollars.
American made U.S. dollars.
Yeah.
Speaking of American money, Money Moves up next. You don't want to miss it. Stick around because Stormy Bonantoni and Ariel Epstein are going to be with you at noon Eastern. And on today's show, VSiN's own hockey expert Jonathan Davis is going to join him to break down his best bets for USA versus Canada tonight at the Four Nations Face-Off. Then it's Prop Points with our buddies from RotoWire, Nick Whalen and Jeff Erickson at 2 p.m. Eastern, followed by Make It Rain with Scott Seidenberg in for Adam Shine from 3 to 4 Eastern. He's Kelley Bydlon. I'm Joe Ceraulo. This is a numbers game. We'll do it again mañana.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.